Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States, was interviewed outside of the Super Bowl, which I'm sure a lot of you were watching, and made a claim that looks like it may be true because during certain ICE raids, it seemed like somehow the people they were looking for were informed. And of course, how could that have happened? Well, there are some theories going around, Will, and the theory from Attorney General Bondi, of course, indicates that it's coming from the inside.
If anyone leaks anything, people don't understand that jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. And if you leaked it, we will find out who you are and we will come after you. And it's not going to stop our mission. It's not going to stop the president's mission to make America safe again. We were very clear with the lawsuit that we filed in Chicago that if you don't follow the law, you will be prosecuted by the Department of Justice.
Just because you have a new administration in town doesn't mean everything gets done rapidly, quickly, and you have staff that needs to be replaced. Because if you do have people on the inside, sure, you have Attorney General Bondi saying that we're going to come after whoever leaked this information. But the fact that you even have a department which is full of people ready to leak this information, or even a few people or one person ready to leak this information, shows sort of the root of the problem.
And when you think about what information is leaked, and this mainly goes to a massive ICE raid / operation that they were planning for the Los Angeles area, as well as Tom Homan also referenced it, one in Colorado, where we know that Tren de Aragua was also setting up shop, that these memos were leaked that were supposed to be internal government, cross-departmental, that talked about the actions they were about to take. This information is leaked, and it gives the criminal migrants the ability to prepare, to leave, to thwart this action, this enforcement action by the Department of Homeland Security. And when you think about the concept that this isn't some low-level policy shift within an administration, this is potentially someone leaking something about governmental action on criminal gang activity within our country, and with the proposed motive of stopping that or slowing it down. That is the complete opposite of what the mission of the FBI is supposed to be. They're supposed to be keeping us safe, upholding the law. And if they're trying to thwart activity from the Department of Homeland Security, that is frightening.
Yeah, when you hear this, what do you think? Are you shocked by it? I unfortunately don't seem to be that shocked by it. It seems like this is what would have happened.
And Secretary Noem of DHS actually tweeted before this interview, "The FBI is so corrupt, we will work with any and every agency to stop leaks and prosecute these crooked deep state agents to the fullest extent of the law." Someone within the government is leaking intel to bad actors, criminal migrants, gang members in some of the largest cities in the country that, hey, guess what? They're coming for you. Maybe plan appropriately. If there's a criminal leak of information, those people do face charges. You've seen that even in previous administrations where someone within the FBI or a CIA agent or someone either leaks something or they change a document to try to get what they want, and then it gets exposed. Many times that does end up in prosecution of those people.
It could be fines, it could be a loss of income.
The other thing you have to remember here too, Logan, is that once again, we've got the Attorney General in. There are many confirmed deputies at the Department of Justice, which have not been confirmed yet. So it's still not a full team of Pam Bondi's own making and the president's own appointing. But then also Kash Patel. We're going to talk about what that timeline is. But remember, the FBI director is not in place yet. And we need that to happen as well so that he can start to clean house within that entire agency.
Was there financial gain for any of this? Was this someone getting paid off or some situation? Or is this the person thinking they're the hero? You know, thinking they are the just, the V for Vendetta moment where they are taking over the government and subverting it for the greater good. It's interesting because I'm sure they could be, made into heroes.
If they get out of this, are they going to become like Andy McCabe, who has made a name for himself on CNN for the left? But the problem here, and I agree, Brian, when you look back at even the first Trump administration, the organization of the government from the get-go was hampered, one, by the Mueller investigation, but two, by Trump not being a politician, not knowing who to put in. Some of the cabinet level picks were not great, took some bad advice. As you can tell within this first almost month of his presidency, which has already felt like 4 years because of how much has gotten done, I think that you can tell that the people are more serious about the rhetoric of holding people to account than we saw in the first administration.
You saw a lot of Washington, D.C. You saw a lot more of those, as you'd say, quote unquote, swampy people put in those positions because they were running things like this was a normal presidency. Where you could delay, you could take your time, you could be slow, you could get stuff never gets done. They were full-blown federal government. But now you have a group of people who that is not their usual play, and they are moving fast.
And I think another angle that we need to bring into this is the importance of whistleblowers. Under the previous administration, if you were a whistleblower and you spoke out against at what we would consider now, if these actions were happening, deep state activities, but when it was the administration, when it was Biden's administration, the bureaucrats and the agency bad actors felt like they had free rein to continue down that path. They were retaliated against by the federal government. And so there was a chilling effect on whistleblowers over the last 4 years and really making those potential whistleblowers afraid to come forward because they were afraid of losing their security clearance, losing their job, being put in this purgatory where they're not getting paid, but they're not fired, so they can't move on with their life and get another job. They can't provide for their family. And at the ACLJ over these last 4 years, we have fought for whistleblowers and won for whistleblowers. But we have a case that was just transferred. This is the O'Boyle case. You remember this case where he was reassigned halfway across the country. They started moving him out there. The FBI was transporting his personal property. They put him on administrative leave in the middle of that without pay and effectively held his own possessions, his children's clothing, their furniture. Because it was held by the FBI, he couldn't even get that back. So he was made homeless in this process. We just had that case where we were fighting through the administrative process. It has now been officially transferred to federal court. So the D.C. Court of Appeals, that is now the place where this case lives. We fought for that back at the end of last year. It's officially moved over. And once that completes the processing of the case, we anticipate that they'll issue a scheduling order informing the parties of deadlines to file and the next rounds of brief, etc. But the importance of us fighting and getting justice for those whistleblowers is so much important now, because if there's a potential whistleblower, it's like, I maybe know who leaked this, or I may know where this is going. They may be terrified that by being a whistleblower that they could get in this same situation the Biden administration did over the last 4 years to whistleblowers trying to blow the whistle on bad actions. But this isn't just, we think the policy is bad about targeting parents at school board meetings, which is egregious constitutional violations. But this is the members of the FBI leaking internal documents from a different agency on criminal enforcement of the law against these groups that have gotten in here, their gangs, wreaking havoc across the country. That is just so shocking to think about. They've got to get to the bottom of it, and the whistleblowers have to feel comfortable to come forward, and that's why we fight for them.